Hello friends, welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be designing a horizontal layout for Thanksgiving week in my Kittrell planner, so come play with me. And I've got this Tombow marker here all ready to go, along with some red foil washi, this PET sticker tape roll, a couple of calligraphy inks I may use, these Happy Planner sticker books, and this Planning Things sticker book, which I will pull from. Okay, you guys, so let's get started by laying down some wax paper and seeing where this spread takes me. So I do have an idea to do either a transitional spread or a wreath or both. I'm not exactly sure yet what I want to do. I was kind of limited on the stickers because I was originally thinking to pull in maybe some leaves on the left and then doing more of a like poinsettia situation here on the right. So let's just see. I have a lot of poinsettias and some foliage here in paper stickers from the Seasons of Color Happy Planner sticker book. And then I was thinking, like I said, to pull maybe the leaves from the Planning Thing, but those stickers are all clear leaf stickers that I would be using. And if you follow my channel, you know it never really works out the best. So I was thinking about it, but I didn't really get much farther than that, as you'll see. So I went ahead and just started pulling all of the paper stickers from the Happy Planner book first. I kind of like this collection because they have all kinds of colors that go well with both holiday and Thanksgiving, I felt, especially with the colors and the designs. I figured it would be a really good week to use these as more of like that transitional. I was thinking to be a little bit more blatant with that transition, but yeah, ended up just kind of sticking with these colors and these stickers as a theme. So I first started by putting them on the spine and thinking maybe I would just do a simple kind of spine design with everything clustered in the middle. Started with that, looked through that Planning Things sticker book that I was planning on using and just rethunk it a little bit. So then I was like, okay, well, let's go back to my original idea of a wreath. I ended up going for the spine first because I was a little worried I wasn't going to have enough stickers to really complete the wreath. We'll see if this actually works. I was, like I said, a little bit hesitant, thinking that I might not have enough to really complete the full circle. And some of the items, the stickers that I have for the circle are a little bit awkward too. Mainly because everything is paper stickers, so overlapping things gets a little bit tricky. You have to kind of work with what you have there when you have paper stickers, in my opinion, if you want it to look good and more fluid. So I'm trying to set everything in, balancing out the colors and all the different little items that are accentuating the wreath. And I'm getting pretty close to completing this wreath, I think. Just need to see if I can fill all the gaps here. I've got one kind of big one there on the bottom left. So then I thought maybe I would bring in some of these red outlined leaves, which are actually like in a red foil. I did pull some red foil washi, and I thought, well, that would be a nice tie-in if I go the red foil route. So let's think about that. But then I also found a few more leaf clusters and I don't know, what do you call those? Branches, I guess, stems that could be used, I think, in this spread as well. I was also starting with trying to make more of a like Thanksgiving color scheme on the left and more of a wintry reds and blues on the right, maybe purples as well. I did a lot of finagling with that. It didn't end up being a real solid division of color, so it just kind of worked as one big whole element in the end. But I did start off trying to separate out the colors so I could create that feeling of transition. Unfortunately, these florals just weren't the best for that. There was just a little bit too much muddled color within each of the designs, so it was hard to make a really nice gradient or color division look. So I'm starting to pull in a little bit of the red. I think that large red floral will help fill that big gap there. So we're going to try that. And because I'm going to start pulling that in, then I started to grab more of it so it wouldn't feel so out of place there. And we'll go ahead and pepper that in and around the other stickers. Is to take a little bit when you have to figure things out, like I like to do on wax paper. I work it until I really like the final design. So I noticed how the wreath was a little bit wonky as far as the circular nature of it. So that also led to me doing a little bit more of this rework, trying to reposition stickers and get a better fit for everything in more of a circular manner. And things I'm thinking about too, like I said, with those paper stickers, I really don't want to overlap too much of the paper on top of each other. I'm trying to fit them in almost like a puzzle where they might be naturally, and that does get a little bit tricky. I also am thinking with these overlaid stickers in the outlines where they won't get hidden or lost. So I do want it to look like they're sprouting out from behind the florals or the branches, but I don't want them to be completely on top of something really dark where you won't even be able to see them unless you're like hitting it at just the right light. So something to kind of consider if you are going to build out something like this with similar stickers. Do take your time and make sure that you're getting the most out of each one so that they don't get lost and you're not covering up a bunch of stuff. If you have the time, take it and make a nice collection of things that create one large wreath as a whole. And I'm having a few small items kind of stick out a little bit outside of the true circular nature of the wreath. That creates a little bit of interest. So if it's something that you've never done before, something to think about is having little sprouts here and there, just guiding the eye a little bit away from the true circle of the wreath. That's another way to just make something look a little more interesting design-wise, that's not so uniform and creates, like I said, some interest. I've cut down a few of these red outline stickers just because the branches were nice, but they were a little bit too big for the space. And again, I don't want anything to get really lost or also something that's going to feel really out of place and throw the whole thing out of whack. So I've cut down a couple of them, basically in half, but following the guiding of the sticker and the shape so that I can create two out of one. And that worked out really well for most cases. There is a little bit of a gap here in the top corner, but I think I'm okay with it. It's pretty small. Otherwise, everything else is very balanced. Let's go ahead and play around with some of the washi now. And I'll drop some of this in the bottom. Here's an example of one of those paper stickers that I just felt was overlaid in an awkward way that made it really obvious that they were two paper stickers on top of each other. So I just cut down the stem a little bit and tried to fit it into, like I said, a natural space there. And I think that looks a lot better. Again, I am laying in that foil. Just going to go ahead and drop it in. I may bump up the wreath just a bit so it's a little bit more centered in the spread. That way I won't have to cut off a lot from the bottom. I had pulled this Happy Planner fall sticker book mainly for these serif letters in the various colors. Again, when I was thinking that this was going to be more of a transitional spread, I thought this would be perfect with the kind of red tones on one side and the green tones on the other. I went ahead and pulled out what I was going to write, which was Happy Holidays. And although I really like it, I don't know, the placement's a little awkward. Also thinking about functionality, you guys know I'm all about it, so I don't have a real good spot for this full quote to live. I'm going to be using, obviously, space there inside of the wreath as well, because it's a pretty large wreath, and I like to have at least a checklist and a focus on every day. So I tried a few different things, moving the holidays to the edge there, and maybe even doing it at the bottom, but I think I'll just save this for another spread where it might fit a little better. I do realize it says Harry and not happy. I would have cut off the R stem and made those into P's because I was out of P's, but since I didn't actually pull trigger on that quote, I decided to just leave it as is in my sticker book so that maybe I could use it like that next year. So in that sticker book, there was a couple of other areas of quotes. They were a little bit more, I don't know, friendly looking as far as the font, a little bit more kiddish, maybe. I don't know, more fun. And this has a much more elegant look to it, so I wasn't sure if I was going to use those. But I did find this gather that was written in a slight cursive, which I think works. And I just nestled it in there in the corner and think that will do the job as far as having something on there that's a quote. I do like to have my spreads have at least one quote on there. I don't know why, it just kind of feels incomplete when I don't. So adding that I think will work, and gather is perfect for the Thanksgiving holiday. So I'm going to go ahead and white out those lines at the very bottom of the spread where the washi is going to overlay, and then drop in that red foil washi. Just like it to look nice and clean there. And here's where I was realizing that I might want to push that wreath up a bit. So my original cut washi isn't going to be enough to fill all the space. So I just reused the trimming there, and then I laid in a full page width on the opposite side to fill the entire page across. And I'm doing the same on the top. And then I'll just trim off any excess there, just get it nice and ready for the roll off I'm about to do with the wreath. So I think I'm going to start from the bottom just because there's a nice big area of sticker right there. And I think will work better if I start from that space. And I'm positioning that too as well so I can make sure everything is aligned exactly where I want it. And then I'll press it down, and then keep pulling back the washi tape from behind the stickers as I move up the pages. This was actually a pretty smooth transition. Sometimes it gets a little bit caught up or has trouble when the stickers aren't fully touching. Like a lot of these aren't really touching a bunch, just a tiny bit. And sometimes that will, like right there, will separate, and then you'll have to reset them. But for the most part, this came off very smooth. I went ahead and whited out behind that red outlined floral so that, again, it had a little bit of a cleaner look, similar to the washi tape. And there you could see I hung up the wax paper behind the sticker and started to rip because I was pushing a little too hard to make sure the stickers didn't move. So it's delicate balance. You kind of learn as you go what works the best. But I got the full wreath off pretty smoothly, so I was happy about that. I'm also going to just finish trimming this one sticker that I left untrimmed and do that whole thing so that I could layer it in without it looking layered, if you will. And then I didn't really want to cut this red sticker too much, so I'm just repositioning it. Also using my little sticker spatula I got from Grabby to really push down those stickers now that they are where I want them. I'm cleaning up a few little miss ends so that everything is nice and clean. So next we'll go ahead and separate out the pages. I'm just going to use my pen cutting tool here. This is my precision cutter from Slice with my little cutting mat from Daiso. And that worked out really nice. I did have a little bit of a gap on the top edge of the spine, so I'm just going to trim that a little bit more, and then any hanging over sticker from the top and the bottom. And we are looking good. So next we're going to need to clean out these holes. I went back and forth on what I was going to do on this because my Happy Planner punch will probably jam. So I'm just going to use this We Are Memory Keepers disc power punch for this. It works okay. The stickers were pretty thick because they were paper stickers. So I was able to punch through with the 2 pages back to back pretty well. It does well on heavy things, but on lighter things, it tends to not do as well. It sometimes, doesn't punch all the way through because it just has a hard time getting a nice, solid, firm punch all the way through with those. But because the paper stickers were layered up and because I had 2 sheets there, it was pretty smooth. I just needed to clean up a few little edges, and that was simple. I'm going to drop in these checklists for the week and just trying to find the best place for each within the spread. Most of them will be on the outside there, but I do have a couple that I needed to drop into the wreath itself just so I would have enough room. And then at the last minute, I decided I wanted to add in some of that calligraphy ink, even though I don't have gold anywhere on the spread. Just thought it'd be a nice little addition on top of those paper stickers. So just using a paintbrush and this gold calligraphy ink, doing a little bit of splatter on top of the stickers mainly, just trying to be very light with my touch there. Just gonna let that dry, and once I'm done with that, you guys, we will be done, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Bye.